What makes a good classic bike? A classic bike does not need the latest tech. It doesn't even need to be that quick. But definitely, it has to look good. And this bike right here definitely satisfies that requirement.
This is the Mutt GT-SS 250. Is it worth your money? Let's find out.
If you're not familiar with the brand, Mutt is a motorcycle brand based in Birmingham, England. They build classic-looking bikes with modern perks. If you want the look of a classic bike but don't want to have to deal with the headaches, as well as the safety issues of riding a bike that's over 50 years old, you might want to take a look at their roster, as that's what they built. Classic bikes with a bit of modern technology and modern reliability. The GT-SS 250 is one such example. It looks like a proper classic bike, but you get modern goodies such as ABS and a fuel gauge, and you also get a bulletproof engine. Now, Mutt makes some pretty handsome looking bikes, and the GT-SS 250 is no exception.
It gets this two-tone gloss black and gloss white finish with plenty of chrome accents. Now, Mutt designed this as a long-distance tourer, so it gets this huge 17-liter fuel tank finished in gloss black and gloss white. You have the Mutt logo over here, and you have a chrome-finished Monza-style cap at the top. It gets a halogen headlamp housed in a metal chrome-finished housing. It also gets this chrome metal grille at the front. Now, like most classic bikes, you get a lot of metal here instead of plastics. Like the housings for the turn signals are made of metal.
The build quality of the bike is very good. The parts feel solid, everything feels solidly bolted together. It looks and feels like a substantial piece of machinery.
Now, as for the suspension, it gets a telescopic fork at the front. It gets a single disc brake at the front with dual piston calipers. The wheels are 18 inches front and back. They are polished spoked wheels, and the tires at the front the tire at the front is a 120/90, and at the back it gets a 130/80. At the back it gets dual coilovers and a double-sided swing arm. It also gets a disc brake with a single piston caliper. Now, as for the engine, Mutt motorcycles come with either a 125cc or a 250cc engine. This particular model comes with a 250cc engine. Now, unlike most of the motorcycle, the engine is actually Japanese. So that's a Suzuki GN250 engine. It's a single-cylinder, 4-stroke, air-cooled, dual overhead cam engine
that puts out 21 horsepower and 18 Newton-meters of torque.
Now, that's a battle-tested and bulletproof engine, and parts for it should be very abundant. So that's one less thing that you have to worry about if you buy the Mutt GT-SS 250. Now, since it's a classic bike, the tech here is very minimal. But you get the basics. This gets ABS, which is very important. I wouldn't recommend buying a bike without ABS. You don't get a push-start button. You have to put the key in the ignition and turn it. The cluster is very simple. You get an analog tachometer with a simple digital gauge here at the bottom. Now, thankfully, this gets a fuel gauge, which you don't get on a lot of classic bikes. Okay, so I'm 5'8" and I can almost flat foot it. The seating position is more or less upright. I just have a bit of lean going on here, but it's a pretty comfortable seating position.
Now, usually when I get to borrow a car or a bike, I get to keep it for about a week or two. This one is different because I've had it for about 2 months now. And when you get to spend that much time with a bike, it starts feeling like it's your own, even if it's not.
See the light of the stars, hear the sound of the unseen in the empty fall, in the silence listen. may it lift your heart and move your feet to run again. May you wander far.
Now this is the second Mutt that I've tried. The first one was the Akita. Now while I prefer the looks of the Akita, I think this feels a bit more comfortable. The suspension is more forgiving, and the seat feels more comfortable. The seating position is also more relaxed. Mutt designed this as a long-distance tourer, and I can see why they had to prioritize comfort. Not only is it comfortable on long rides, it's also comfortable in heavy city traffic. Because it's air-cooled, you don't have a radiator fan which would blow warm air towards your legs. Also, the engine itself does not produce a lot of heat, so heat is not an issue even if you're in city traffic. The bike weighs 130 kilograms. Well, that's just enough weight to make it feel stable enough at higher speeds, but it's still easy to maneuver around parking lots. You don't feel that weight so much when you're maneuvering. It feels quite agile and very willing to turn when you want it to. The brakes will take a bit of getting used to. I'm not sure if it's just this unit, maybe it just needs a bit of adjustment, but the rear brake in particular requires a bit more force before it actually bites. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's an adjustment issue, but eventually I got used to it, and after 2 months with the bike, I didn't even notice it anymore. The power is okay. It can do 0 to 100 kph in about 12 seconds. It's significantly faster than your average scooter, but it's no speed demon. You don't buy a classic bike for its speed anyway. You do feel quite a bit of vibration through the handlebars when you're revving it hard, which is expected really from a classic bike, so it's not really an issue. Overall, it's a very easy bike to live with, whether you want to use it for commuting in the city or you want to take it to a mountain road somewhere. It's a very versatile bike. So in the intro, I said that a classic bike should look good. You don't really buy these bikes for their handling, their power, their refinement, or their modern features. You can get those from sport bikes, sport tours, or adventure bikes for less money. Much of the appeal of a classic bike is its styling, and the GT-SS 250 delivers on that department. But the good thing about it is that it's not a one-trick pony. It's something that you can admire whether you're riding it or whether it's parked in your garage. The Mutt GT-SS 250 sells for 250,000 pesos. At that price, it offers British heritage, classic styling, excellent comfort, and decent handling. Most people buy classic bikes mostly for the looks, but this one has quite a bit more going for it.